I'm also gonna get a piece of the basil. Ooh, it's nice and crunchy. Hey guys, welcome back to a Sunday edition of Cook With Me. So I've been thinking a lot about going back into the real world and what I would be looking forward to the most. And honestly, it's the simple things like getting my boba fix. I used to get boba pretty often and I would always get like the popcorn chicken snacks that go with it because it's just like the perfect combo to go together. So in preparation for, I guess you can say, lockdown release, I'm going to make a boba and popcorn chicken at home. So I made this boba and I've been making boba pretty consistently. It's just so comforting and chewy. Like a lot of you guys asked where I got my boba from, and I actually ordered these from a local boba shop. It's called Tea and Art Pop. Tea and Art Pop, and I'll link it in the description box below so you can get your own as well. This packet was $5 and for like, I think it's $9, you can get a tea that goes with it. I actually bought the green jasmine, but today for my boba, I'm gonna make my favorite, which is a black mango milk tea with boba. Sometimes I do grass jelly as well, but I've been digging my boba lately. So I already have my water boiling and I'm just gonna add a quarter of a cup of this tapioca pearls, uncooked, and then about 1 tablespoon of brown sugar just to sweeten it up a little bit. Then I'll turn it down to simmer, cover it, and let it do its thing for 20 minutes to cook up. All right, so while that's cooking, I'm gonna prepare our popcorn chicken, which is also super easy to make. So anytime I think about boba and snacks that go with it, I tend to always get the popcorn chicken. They just go hand in hand together. And my favorite part about the popcorn chicken is, believe it or not, the Thai basil that they fry with it. I just think that it adds so much flavor, and I typically add a lot of the 5 spice powder on there as well. But anyways, I have two large chicken thighs here, and I'm just gonna cut them into small pieces, like 1-inch size pieces, like this big, just so that they cook quickly and they're like bite-sized, you know? I'm gonna make some of them smaller than others just so you have like a variety of sizes. And what's really fun about these is that they tend to use the skewers to eat them, and they're kind of like street food. Anyway, so they finally announced yesterday that the economy is opening back up Is it May 1st or May 4th? I'm hearing conflicting things because California, last that I heard, we were locked down until May 15th, and I don't really know if that still holds true. So if you guys have different information out there, let me know in the comment section below. All right, so I'm gonna add this to the bowl, and then we're gonna marinate it real quick using stuff like I usually use in most of my videos. These are the basic Asian ingredients. One of the viewers asked me if I can make a video with top 10 must-have Asian ingredients in your pantry, and I thought that would be really fun. So I'm thinking that will be my next video. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys want to see that. Let me clear this out. Wash my hands. All right, so for the marinade here, I'm gonna first start with some garlic. If you guys don't have this garlic, which I found to be like my best friend during this lockdown, I use it in pretty much everything savory, and it's already pre-chopped. It's pretty good. It tastes pretty good. A smidge of ginger. So I ended up buying these because fresh produce and fresh ingredients were really hard to come by for a while there, like way at the beginning. And then I just started using them and I thought they were like, they're so convenient. And then we'll just add maybe like, I would say this is equivalent to 1 teaspoon of fresh ginger. If you have fresh ginger, which I am gonna get next week. Sesame oil. Look, I'm down to my last bit of sesame oil. So we need a lot of recipe replenishment here, or ingredient replenishment. And I'm gonna add, I like a lot of sesame oil, so I'm gonna add probably like 1 teaspoon. If it's too much for you from the sesame oil department, just add half a teaspoon. Sugar. I always keep like sugar ready in a canister like this for, you know, like if I'm cooking, I need to add a little bit, just grab it right there. But you just probably need a dash, like I would say 1/4 teaspoon, and then 1/4 teaspoon of salt, some mirin or cooking sake. This is completely optional. You don't need to have it if you can't find it. I just tend to like adding that little bit of alcohol-y flavor to it, and it's kind of sweet, so it's like sweet sake. You can find this in the cooking section actually at Asian markets. It's not under the alcohol section, so just a splash, so 1 tablespoon. What really makes this chicken, and I know I've been adding a lot of stuff in here, but you don't need the ginger per se. You don't really need the extra salt. I just feel like these things balances the flavors out. But this one right here, the black pepper powder, this is key. Like I feel like this really needs that bit of black pepper in there. And I always get that little bit of essence. And this is also key, 5 spice powder. I got this from Sprouts actually, so you can find 5 spice powder. That's like a mouthful. At any any regular grocery stores these days. Okay, because growing up, like this was kind of one of those ingredients where you'd have to go get at the Asian market. So I'm really happy that things are more widely available now. Now, if just regular grocery stores could start carrying boba balls, that would be amazing. It goes really well with like a chicken, sticky glazed chicken, or a soy glazed rib, 5 spice glazed rib, which is also in my cookbook. I'll share more of that as we get there, but I'm really excited because my cookbook baby is off to be developed now. It's like sending a little baby off to school, having it come back as an adult. But basically it's going to the printers to get printed, and soon we will see the full printed copy of it. So I will definitely share more of that soon. Okay, but for the 5 spice, we just need, I'm gonna do 2 teaspoons. It's pretty potent. Like it has flavors of cinnamon, cloves, star anise. This one has cinnamon, fennel, cloves, star anise, and white pepper. And the star anise is really, really strong, but in a really good way. And finally, about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I've transferred my soy sauce into this vinegar dispenser, and it's been a game changer. Like I use soy sauce so often that, you know, it's just easy to kind of squirt it in like that. That's what she said. Just kidding. Okay, now we are gonna let it marinate for about 10 minutes to really soak up the flavors. So in the meantime, I am gonna brew my tea. So for the tea, one of my favorite tea blends actually is by the Boba guys, and this one is the Boba Guys blend #1. I'm giving all my tea houses some love today because they are struggling. And you know what, you guys? If you guys need tea, if you guys need boba, please go support them. Anyway, so this one, I just need 1 teaspoon, and you heat up the water to 200 degrees and steep it for 3 minutes. Easy enough. All right, so I'm just gonna add 1 teaspoon eyeballed into my mug. And then because I want the tea to be pretty concentrated, I like my tea dark. If you guys like it a little bit lighter, just don't add as much and don't steep it for as long. But I like mine dark so that the flavors really come through with the milk and the mango juice. But basically, I'm gonna add about 1 cup of water once it boils. All right, now we'll just let it steep for, I'll do 3 to 5 minutes to get it nice and dark, and then I'll transfer it out. So the last time I made it on my Instagram, a lot of people wondered if my tea became bitter. Like if you leave it there for a really long time and it gets super dark, obviously, yes, it will get bitter, but I feel like if you stick to the 3-minute time as they suggested, it'll be nice and floral and, hey Google, set the timer for 4 minutes. Okay, our tea is done, and I'm just going to transfer it into another pitcher and strain out the leaves. Oh, it smells so good. So fragrant. But yeah, I just needed to strain out the leaves, so now I'm gonna let it hang out over here and cool down while we finish our chicken. So before we start frying up our popcorn chicken, we need to do a dredge. So what that is basically like an egg coating with flour to make sure that it gets nice and crispy. For the flour part, I'm gonna use a mix of white rice flour. Is that what it says? Yes. White rice flour and cornstarch. If you guys think I'm being a little airheaded today, it's because I am. I haven't gotten much sleep this week because I think Rolly is teething and he's been up pretty much every 2 hours like fussing. So I'm tired. So it's either his 7-month sleep regression or it could be teething. I haven't seen any teeth yet, but he won't let me touch it either. So I'm hoping it's that. I keep telling my friend, if I don't see 2 little teeth by the end of this, I just don't know what I'm gonna do. And then we're gonna do half part cornstarch. So basically what I did was 1/3 of a cup of white flour. And then now I'm gonna do 1/2 of a 1/3 of a cup, which is this much. I think that's probably like 3 tablespoons. Yeah. So I'm using a mix between the two just because I really like the lightness that cornstarch adds. And white rice flour is also super light as well, but this just kind of makes it really, really, really airy. If you don't have cornstarch or one or the other, you can just use full of cornstarch or full of white rice flour. You don't have to mix it like this. And then we have 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of water. Mix, mix, mix. Alrighty. So now I'm gonna work in batches. I'm gonna spoon it in to the egg first and then transfer over here. You just wanna make sure that it's nicely coated into the egg mixture. And you will lose a little bit of the soy sauce in there, but that's not a problem at all. And I'm just gonna dunk it in here to the flour mixture and then shake it around after it's semi-full. And this recipe is pretty forgiving because like you just dunk it in like this and you shake it around, and then when you fry it up you get those scraggly pieces. It's not exact like you would like a katsu or something where it's like perfectly even crisp. So now I'm gonna give it a good shake. I have this slotted spoon. If it doesn't coat evenly, you definitely want to make sure the chicken is fully coated. If it doesn't, then just toss it like this, separating the pieces, and then I'll finish out the rest. And if it starts to clump up like that, just either add more flour. You don't really need to because this is totally fine. Shake it around and make sure the batter is evenly distributed. This looks good. Now we're ready to fry. All right. So I'm gonna turn my burner on and then using avocado oil, which is my favorite oil to cook with. There's a really high smoke point, so if you don't have avocado oil, you can use canola or peanut oil would work. Any high smoke point oil. I'm gonna add 1 inch of oil to the pan, and I'm using a fairly small pan just because number 1, I don't waste a lot of oil, and number 2, it's just easier to work with. And I recommend using like a very heavy bottom pot, like either cast iron or very like thick non-stick pan would work as well, but just make sure that it's a heavy bottom so the heat is evenly distributed and you don't get like hot spots so it burns faster. So a really cool way that my mom taught me how to test if the oil is hot enough is just get a chopstick or like a skewer. Ooh, why is that happening? Just get a skewer or chopstick and then put it at the bottom, and if it oils, if the oil bubbles at the tip like that, it's ready. Now we're just gonna drop our chicken pieces in. And then I'll just fry each side for about 3 minutes or until it's nice and golden brown. And as that's cooking, I'm just preparing my Thai basil because that's my favorite part of this. Just frying it up takes a couple of seconds, so I'm gonna let this go ahead and finish. And while the oil is still hot, I always love adding a little bit more of the 5 spice powder right on top to give it some more flavor, and paprika for color. And finally, for the garnish, this is my favorite part, the Thai basil. It takes literally like 2 seconds to fry up, but just make sure that it's super duper dry. Any water or condensation left on here will backfire. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So the stem, this is like really fresh. So the stem has a lot of water content in there. Just get the leaves. Okay, I don't want it to explode on you, so make sure that the oil cools down a lot. So give it maybe like 5 minutes, and then you can throw the Thai basil in. It will still maybe pop, but not as intense as it did with mine, because the stems here still have a lot of like moisture, because it's a living thing, you know? So just make sure that you're safe whenever you're frying the Thai basil, or skip it altogether if you're not comfortable. But now we're gonna finish up our boba tea. So our bobas have finished cooking. They're nice and chewy. I love this boba because I love these bobas because they're just so soft. Some of them are really hard after cooking them, and this one is legit. Okay, and then to sweeten it up a little bit, I'm gonna add maple syrup. You can add sugar, brown sugar, whatever you have. I'm staying away from honey at the moment just because I don't want cross-contamination with Rolly since he's starting to eat now. That causes botulism, so I don't want to risk it. And then I'm gonna add some ice to our cup. Our mango, this is my favorite. This brand makes passion fruit, guava, lychee, mango. I love mango, but their lychee is really good too with like green tea. And then we have our black tea. And finally, some whole milk. Ta-da! I know it seemed like there was quite a bit of work and steps to go into this, but it makes you appreciate going out to get boba, doesn't it though? Like, good boba takes work and takes time. Always appreciate what the artisanal boba shops do. That's good. Okay, let's try the chicken. I'm also gonna get a piece of the basil. Ooh, it's nice and crunchy. Finish going out. That's gonna be my lunch, my snack, and it's satisfying. I do miss going out. I can't wait for the day that we can go out to boba shops and hang out with our friends again. Tag your friend or share this with a friend that you're dying to go get boba with, and let me know what you think. If you want to try this at home, let me know. Tag me on Instagram at honeysuckle so I can reshare, like, see your photos. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!